Hello, and welcome to a fairly rough and ready gear demo today. I'm actually literally sat on the floor in front of my amp. Today we are looking at the Ammoon PockLoop. Now, the Ammoon PockLoop is part of the Pock series of pedals that Ammoon have been doing. You've already seen the Pock Dist and the Pock Echo and the Pock Amp from me, and we now have the PockLoop. Now, it's a one-button looper with a few tricks up its sleeve. The most obvious is this little dial here. This little dial allows you to have up to 11 different loops on the device. So what I mean by that is each one of these can contain 30 minutes of unlimited dubs in a loop, and then you play one back, flip to the next one and play it back, next one, and so on. Which means you can have 11 fully created tracks all saved on here to then go and play live with. The other thing is that it has a half speed button, which you'll see later, it plays things at half speed, a 2x speed, which turns you into the Chipmunks, reverse, which is actually kind of fun and kind of cool, and play once, so that if you are playing it live, you don't get to the end of the song and it starts playing the song again. On the end of it, there is a USB port, and the USB port connects to a PC or a Mac. Opens up a bit like a USB drive initially, and has a piece of software on there that you install called the PockLoop software. And once that's installed, you can import and export tracks from the looper, which means that you can create a nice big layered loop, export it to your PC and import it into Reaper, or just save it in a folder to then use later. More importantly, what it can do is it allows you to put full MP3 or WAV file tracks straight onto the looper to play later. So you can create a full backing track with a full band, put it on here, and then play it back live so that you got that full kind of band effect in the background just by yourself. Or you can put a full kind of pre-made backing track or whatever. There are some things which I'll talk about at the end which you need to know about that, but for the time being, let's quickly hear what it does. We've all heard what loopers do. I've done some tutorials on them, but just to see what it does, and then we'll come back and I'll have a quick chat about it. Okay, so we're all set up. I've got a very clean amp sound. I've got the Mosky Silver Horse going into the looper, just for a bit of gain. I just thought I'll take you through the settings and just show you what it does very simply. So let's get a loop going. So lots of fun with lots of different things there. First off was half speed, then 2x speed, then reverse, and then play once. So if you don't want it to keep looping, you just hit the play once button. Now, obviously, the great thing about this is there's more than one channel. So if I want to now record something completely different, I flick to channel 2. I won't do a good loop this time. and so on and so forth. And you can do up to 11 of these. You can have half an hour of unlimited dubs on each track as well. So you can just keep recording over and over and over. As you saw there, you press once to record, once to play back, once to overdub, and then you double tap to stop. Now, what's really interesting is the ability to upload via USB music to this. So you can, using the PockLoop software, which I've got on screen now, you can import and export tracks, which means I can put a track onto the PockLoop and play along to it, which is why I have a very, very clean amp. So you can actually put a full MP3 track onto there and play along to it. So we've heard what it does. As I said, it's a looper. To be honest, it's actually a really useful looper because it's a small unit. Doesn't take battery though. It does have to be powered off a 9-volt connector. But the fact that you can store 11 loops on it, you can put full MP3 files on there, makes it a really useful live tool and a really useful practice tool. Things to remember though, if you're using it with a full backing track, whatever amp you're going into needs to be clean. You can't have reverb or distortion on it. So you've got to put all of your pedals actually going into the looper. Otherwise, obviously the backing track's going to go through your amp's distortion and all that kind of stuff. So that's only useful if, like me, you tend to use a very clean amp and use pedals going into it. The other thing to remember, which I found out, is when you use the PockLoop software, the files have to be named without any special characters like dashes or full stops in the wrong places, because the software crashes. Once you realize that, it works really well. For me, this is going to become a really invaluable practice tool because the fact that you can store 11 loops on here means I can put all the songs that I'm currently learning in the band, I can do all my backing tracks onto this, and I can just play along to them and practice them at home without having to do what I usually do, which is put on a proper kind of the original recording and just play over it. I can create the whole thing without guitar and just play along like that. I imagine if you play live by yourself with an acoustic, this would become really useful because it's a small unit. You don't need the two kind of pedals that you tend to get with bigger, more fancy loop pedals, but it's also not so tiny that it just kind of tips over when you're trying to click on it. So I think, yeah, really, really useful. At the moment on Amazon, I think this is about £65, so it's not the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive. And I think for the features, and again, you can get 11 lots of 30 minutes of loops on here. I think it represents pretty good value for money. So yeah, all in all, this will be one that I'm keeping. And I think my little mini loopers that I've been using for the last year or two might end up on eBay very soon. Let me know what you think. Have you tried this one? Have you tried the stereo version of this? Because I know there is another version of this with two buttons. Let me know in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on other mini or smaller form loopers. Click subscribe, click like, click the bell, and I will see you soon. Cheers.